Murders at Karlov Manor, spoilers, previews, whatever you want to call it. Season marches on, and today we have another potential control card. I'm super stoked for this one. Obviously, looking at the screen, this is not your typical Azorius control, but rather any control deck that doesn't play white. This could be Dimir, this could be Grixis, pick your poison. Any kind of control that doesn't play white, this might be the new go-to sweeper in Pioneer and Explorer. With all that being said, let's take a look at Deadly Coverup. First off the bat, this art is absolutely gorgeous by Sam Gway. Holy smokes, what does the card do? It is a 5-mana, 3 colorless, 2 black sorcery for a rare. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may collect Evidence 6. So you can exile up to 6 CMC of cards in your graveyard to give it an additional effect. Let's read on, though. Destroy all creatures. So it's a Wrath. It's a 5-mana Wrath at its base. If evidence was collected, exile a card from an opponent's graveyard. Then search its owner's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with the same name as that card and exile them. That player shuffles, then draws a card for each card exiled from their hand this way. Holy smokes, so a lot to unpack here. First off, I want to say this is basically a Wrath with an Extirpate stapled on. So I really like that. For the rate, this is a very, very fine card. Now, I do like the fact that this can hit anything. So this can hit lands. This can hit lands, which means, yes, in Commander, you can hit your opponent's basic lands for this. Now, that is seemingly the biggest uproar I've noticed on social media about this card. People are losing their collective minds over the fact that you can hit basic lands. And essentially, in Commander, in someone's game on the spot almost. How often is that going to happen, though? Well, I don't play Commander too much, but in my opinion, that's not going to happen a ton. Unless you're a heavy, aggressive mill deck, like self-mill deck, you're not going to have too many basic lands in your graveyard. So I see the concerns, although I think that's more of a casual kind of concern. As for what this does in more competitive 60-card formats, this is excellent. You're going to be hitting cards that can swing the battle in your opponent's favor. So if you deal with a creature that is troublesome, say a Sheoldred or say an Atraxa, you can Wrath the board, and then you can pick that off. Or if there's a Planeswalker you know that you have already previously dealt with, you can pick that out of the graveyard. I mean, this card is excellent. Now, the one thing and the one home I think this really does have an awesome spot for off the rip is Dimir Control. Now, I want to preface this by saying, obviously, Dimir Control is not the go-to control deck. But if you are a control connoisseur, such as me, and if you're watching this channel, you probably are, but I like trying a ton of different control decks, not just Azorius-based control decks, including Dimir and Grixis in Pioneer. So I really like this. Now, this is the Goldfish translation, so tentatively this is what it does. There are people saying that maybe they got the translation wrong because of the whole basic land thing, but in my opinion, that's not that big of a deal because, again, if you are hitting your opponent's lands, you're taking lands out of their deck. You're thinning their deck, and they're going to only draw gas, especially if you're hitting basic lands in a monocolored deck. This card's 5 mana, so it's at least turn 5. They're going to have at least 5 lands, hopefully, in play already. So, overall, though, I think that this is a great addition to non-Azorius-based decks. I'm really excited for this. Dimir is a strategy. Dimir Control is a strategy that is on the fringe, right, of Pioneer and Explorer. You don't see it a lot. There are some devoted players of Dimir. Shout out to John Farrow. in Pioneer. But this definitely, in my opinion, is going to be a pretty strong grab. Now, obviously, with No More Lies coming out, Azorius, I think, is starting to lap all of the other kinds of control decks in the format. But Deadly Coverup, excellent art. Just want to say that. Deadly Coverup is an awesome, awesome card for Dimir, Grixis, and other black-based, non-white control decks. But what do you think? Do you think this card is worth all the hype? Or maybe I'm just hyping it up too much. I'm a control connoisseur, so I really enjoy this, and I like to try different versions. You know, climbing the ladder, I can get bogged down just playing control over and over, and Azorius control by that. I like switching up my control tastes, you know, different flavors of control. So I'm really excited to see how Deadly Coverup stacks up in those kinds of decks. But let me know, like I said, let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about Deadly Coverup? Am I hyping it up too much? Are you not going to mess with Dimir or Grixis just because it is the more inferior version of control? I don't know. I like it, but let me know. Like, comment down below, like I said, and of course subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon so YouTube tells you when I post a video. And if you want to support the content even further, if you want to go above and beyond, head on over to patreon.com/lessalex. Check me out over there. Just a couple of bucks a month. You can support the content, and it goes a long way. I appreciate you all. And until the next one, I will catch you all on the flippy flop. Adios.